I'm Coach Michael Burt, the Super Coach, and I've spent the last 18 years of my life basically building a multi-million-dollar coaching company, which ain't easy to do, folks. Trust me. And selling, speaking, selling, coaching, selling online academies, creating concepts. And so I've started in 2020 with a program called the $1 Million Coaching Summit, which is where I spend 2 days coaching people in how to take a concept and make money with it, whether that be through speaking, coaching, training, leading, right, publishing, online academies. And because of that, I've created a podcast called The $1 Million Coach. I do think you can make $1 million, 10 million, 40 million a year sharing your knowledge with other people. I started as an athletic coach, a women's basketball coach. And people constantly ask me, how did you make the transition from that to this? Well, I had a message. First book I wrote at 25 years old. I had a methodology, and I had a mission to help and impact other people. So today on $1 Million Coach, we're going to break down from concept to execution. Because what happens is the stats tell me that there's 200 million Americans. 81% of Americans believe they have a book inside of them. Now, if they got a book inside of them, they got a message inside of them. Having the book, like a lot of people, I just did a publishing retreat where I spent 3 days helping people write their first book, coaching them really in how to take a concept to execution, which is the topic of today's show. Just getting the book done is just a book. Doesn't mean the book's going to sell. Doesn't mean it's going to help anybody. Doesn't mean you're finished. And most people think, oh, if I just get the book done, everything's going to change. No, you have a concept. You have a construct. It is now up to you to get attention for that concept, to get in front of people who can purchase that concept, to get in front of masses of people who can buy that concept. Like it is now that you got the concept, now you got to execute on the concept. So I'm going to give you some examples of what I'm doing with the concept called flip the switch. And there are good concepts and bad concepts. Right? Like some of you have a concept and it's too common, it's too ordinary, it's too average. Somebody else has already sang that song. And you need to sing it in a different way or need to deliver it in a different way. So let's take the book, Flip the Switch, and let me give you some examples. Flip the Switch came from me sitting in a course listening to a person talk about animals. You're like, what? He talked about dogs and how a dog, a canine, had a prey drive. And I didn't have dogs growing up. Okay, it's not that I don't like them. I just don't want one. Okay? And so he's talking about this concept of prey drive, P-R-E-Y-D-R-I-V-E, and he's just talking about animals. And he says the dog has a prey drive. And I'm like, prey drive? I like that. What is prey drive? So I go, I look it up, and I see in the dictionary that a prey drive is an instinctual ability of an animal, specifically a dog, to pursue something. In a dog's case, to stalk, capture, kill prey. Sounds like a cheetah. Sounds like, right? Like it's an instinctual, maybe mammalian a brain concept of to see something that I want and go get it. Why do Americans not have it? Why have we become such a complacent society? There's a book right there. Complacent Nation. Let me write that one down, Jack. Don't lose that one. Complacent Nation. And so over the last 28 years, I'm sitting in the course and I'm like, dang, that's what I've been doing, man. For 28 freaking years. That's what I've been doing. Is I've been activating the prey drive in people. And so I come up with this concept, right? And I go, okay, let me take it to step 2. Because it ain't enough just to talk about prey drive. And I start thinking, let me study the motivational models that are out there. And motivational models, there's about 20, all say the same thing. We move toward things we want. We're hungry, we move toward food. We want companionship, we move toward other people. We right? Like we move toward things we want physiologically, biologically. And I'm thinking, well, what if we don't want anything? which is exactly what happens to people when they get comfortable. I don't want anything else. I don't need anything else. It ain't about the money, by the way. It's about pursuit of something. And so I start looking at Pray Drive, and I go, okay, there's 3 components of this thing. There's got to be activated. There's got to be a persistence to it, and there's got to be an intensity to it. If you don't have those 3 things, you don't have a good Pray Drive. It's got to be activated. The switch has got to be flipped. That's where I started thinking. It's like turning a light switch on. Light is stronger than darkness. Darkness is low-wasted negative energy. It's why when I come into a house, I turn all the lights on. I turn the music on because that's positive energy. And I'm sitting there, and I'm going, okay. So we go to New York City to hang out with the guys at 2 Market Media, and I got this book concept, and I want to write a book on this, but I don't know quite what to call it. I love Pray Drive, but it's hard to understand. You got to explain it. We sit there and we brainstorm for 2 hours or 3 hours or so long, and then we come back, and I'm thinking like find another gear, like flip the switch, right? And it's like, that's it, man. Flip the switch. The switch has been flipped. What happens when the switch is flipped in a person? Boom, it's on, right? I'm moving from complacency to average to extraordinary. Like I'm going from static to dynamic. I'm going from a dead to alive. I'm flipping the switch. I'm finding another gear. Then I step back and I go, okay, what do I want to do with this concept? Well, I'm going to write a book on it for sure. I'd like to do a boot camp on it, a coaching boot camp. And I did one, and it was incredible. It's 20 concepts that I would have told myself at 20. Use the whole 3 days to flip the switch in other people. Intense, people crying, laughing, want to go back and quit their job to pursue their passion. And then I said, I'm going to do this with it. I'm going to do a podcast with it. And I'm going to do speaking engagements on it. And I'm going to take the concept, flesh it out, use it. It's going to become part of the vernacular of what I use. And I'm going to say the first step of my entire system, pay attention if you're listening to this, you want to be a coach, is I'm not selling you one thing, I'm selling a whole system. The first step of the entire system is activation of Pray Drive. Until the Pray Drive is activated, nothing matters. It don't matter how good your explanation of services are. It doesn't matter if you get leads. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, and you follow it because you don't have enough Pray Drive. You need Pray Drive. The switch has got to be flipped to do any of these things. Or you live in that complacent nation I talk about. So if you're out there listening to the show and you're thinking, I got a concept, I've got an idea, it doesn't need to just live inside of you. You have to package it. And packaging means anything a consumer can feel, touch, taste, smell, absorb. Video series, podcast series, book, program, 1-day event, 2-day event, retreat, whatever. You got to package it, man. You got to take the idea and you got to say, who would pay for this idea? And you got to give me a way to pay for it. A landing page, right? A link. I collect a credit card form. I take your PayPal. Okay? So for many of you are out there watching this coach and you're like, how does he do this? This is simple. I take an idea and then I take an action. I got an idea and then I create something that somebody can purchase. And then I share that idea through video, audio, all these things right here. And so if you're out there listening, if you don't do this, you live in idea world, guys. You got more ideas than you can handle, but you got no money because you haven't executed on the idea. An idea has to be taken action. It has to be executed on. And I do this with every concept that I'm doing. Jack, I wrote Person of Interest many years ago, and I'm doing 2 Person of Interest boot camps next year, one at the Lodge and one in Florida, because so many people want to be people of interest. Right? That's an idea. I write it down on paper. I schedule it. I market it. We sell it. It's not complicated. Too many people out there have these ideas, but they don't know how to package. I could take that concept of complacent nation, right? Write a book on it. Go on a speaking circuit about it. be on news channels about it. Like I could do all of those things with that one concept. Idea to execution. Now, if today was good for you, I want to encourage you. You're listening to $1 Million Coach, new podcast I have out, simple ideas about how to make millions of dollars with concepts, books, ideas, just like I have. And I want to encourage you. I got a 4-week mentoring program with me called $1 Million Mentoring. The whole month of August, you need to get in. Let me coach you for 4 weeks. It's $9.97. I've got a 2.5-day boot camp with me called the $1 Million Coaching Summit. One of the best things I do, teaching you how to coach, how to make money with ideas. That's in September and October, September 30th through October 2nd. I promise you, if you get in the $9.97, I'll credit the money toward the boot camp. We can't help you to commit to something. I can make you into a $1 Million Coach. If you got a little charisma, a little smarts, you ain't even got to be that smart. You got to have a big engine. And that's what we're going to teach you at these things. So $1 Million Mentoring is 4 weeks with me. Just reach out to me, DM me, mentor, or $1 Million Coaching Summit. Reach out to it, coach@coachburt.com. Let's get you started. Let's show you how to take an idea and bring it to multiple product streams so you can create multiple profit centers. I'm Coach Michael Burt, the $1 Million Coach. Go to coachburt.com. Let's get you started.